Bro, what the fuck is a cloud bob?
This is not a cloud bob. We're not referring to it as a cloud bob. It's 2026 and we're going to stop Christopher Columbusing black people's hairstyles. Do you hear me?
I've been seeing this cloud bob trend to describe black hair. A soft, airy silhouette that's light and weightless. Yo, who named this? Who named it the cloud bob? We gotta see this, man. Oh. That makes a lot of sense. The whole time I've been seeing this post, I noticed how differently things are treated once it's a black hairstyle. Black hair always gets punished for being too black, like most things. But once it gets gentrified by the unmelanated to be more appropriate, now it becomes a trend.
So I've been doing this hairstyle for the past 2 days and I'm just a little bit obsessed with it, yeah. So I decided I'm gonna make it a trend. I'm gonna call it sticky bangs.
The afro is not just big hair. It holds political weight and always has. Looking back at the Black Power era or even the Black is Beautiful movement, the afro became a symbol of pride in African ancestry and a rejection of white assimilation standards. This is why for the longest time it was treated as militant or threatening. For any people that grew up in a black household, I'm sure you experienced your parents telling you to do something with your hair 24/7, whether it be braided, twisted, or cut it. So when people act like rounded, textured hair is some like cute, natural aesthetic, they erase what the afro meant for black people historically. Because this ain't no cloud bob, my guy. The cloud bob is being sold as this soft, airy, texture-loving hairstyle in a way that describes it as less rigid than the other bob trend. So once they make this attempt at gentrifying our hair, now the mainstream culture can eat it up and start using it themselves. This matters because once this silhouette is framed through this soft lens, it becomes easier for mainstream culture to celebrate. The same look that's usually seen as too much or unruly on black people becomes effortless once it's renamed and repackaged.
If it was never that serious, why was it shaved off? If it was never that serious, why did they have to cover it? If it was never that serious, why do they have to straighten it? If it was never that serious, why is natural hair ghetto? If it was never that serious, why is it now okay for white women to wear bonnets in public and not black women? Racism is that deep and takes many, many, many forms, one of which is cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation only happens after culture has been suppressed, and then we take what we want and appropriate it into our culture, and we say, this is mine, I thought of this. There's no such thing as a cloud bob, okay? It's an afro. It's an afro, and white hair doesn't do that naturally. I have curly white hair. Mine doesn't turn into an afro. If it's not that deep, why is respectability a thing? Why is their ability to mimic whiteness what allows them to get jobs and social advancement in this country, in this current day and age, today?
Only a matter of time before they start calling locks braid bobs. But they already started. I mean, we got Viking braids, or instead of waves, we got tides.
Ooh.
And this is the core contradiction. At the same time, those styles get recycled through fashion and beauty as a new hair trend.
These are cornrows. These are not Viking braids. These are not boxer braids. These are cornrows. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is an afro. It will always be an afro. Why? Because our hair defies gravity. It grows up and out, all right? We will never, ever, 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 ever refer to this as a cloud bob. It is not.
Why does everything we create have to be remixed by someone else? The Crown Act law was designed to prevent race-haired discrimination. It's already accepted in most states. But when we see things like the cloud bob, this conversation goes deeper than you think. Since this shows that the discrimination never ended, regardless of how they choose to word it. Appropriation is not just you wearing a style. When these aesthetics are stripped of their origin and reintroduced with cleaner vocabulary for marketing purposes, it really starts to show how they really feel about hair on black people. Protective styles are not random fashion trends. But when I'm saying the gentrification of the afro, it feels like a lot of the risk gets removed when you call it a cloud bob. They can then hide the roots and the stigma against the hairstyle, while the hair's association with blackness gets further weakened. Then they'll keep the aesthetic value.
We could praise their shape and the softness, but not the other shit.
Mainstream culture be wanting the beauty without the burden. Then they'll try to shortcut the stereotypes and decades of influence with some corny stain. Black hair has never been allowed to be neutral because it stands out and then it gets misunderstood and becomes a target for legal and social control. That is why an afro on a black person can and will still trigger judgments about professionalism. As you can see, my hair is not considered appropriate for most standards as a black man. So the second I seen this post, I knew what I had to do. The point is not that no one outside of the culture could wear the styles. The point is the double standard. If a style is beautiful enough to trend, it should be respected enough to not be punished on black people. The same goes for anything that we've created or that stems from black culture. But time and time again, we see things get taken from our culture and diluted for everyone's consumption. If texture is trendy in these Vogue posts, it should not be unkept in schools and workplaces. And yes, at every job I've been to, I've heard some bull. If rounded cloud bobs are fashionable now, then we need to acknowledge the black history and black people that wore the afro when it was still treated as unacceptable. Cloud bob may look harmless, but we all know it's not. It's another subtle way to translate black culture into a nice language or image for people to look at and then appropriate and then sell it back to the world as something fresh, while black people are still left dealing with the baggage attached to the original roots of afros and every black hairstyle. Black expression keeps getting mined for beauty while black people get stuck with the penalty. And until that changes, every new trend is still gonna feel a little familiar.
Wow, that was so powerful.